Church, Asbury Park, New Jersey, presented to, I'll call the person's name shortly, in appreciation for 50 plus years of faithful service. Pastor George E. Britt, October 13, 2013. The individuals, now the names will be called. Sister Martha Brooks.
Amen.
Sister Martha Brooks is living on the West Coast now. In her 90s, I believe. Still in her right mind. Still remembers Allen Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church. In her prayers and with her tithes and her offerings. We ought to give God praise for Sister Martha Brooks. Y'all open these up as you come so we can call. They're not in alphabetical order now. So Sister Vermell, Prince, please come forward. Give God some praise. Yeah, stay on the first bench so somebody can get a picture. Sister Evelyn Cruse. By the power invested in me by the bishop and by you, that Evelyn Cruse is officially the mother of Allen Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church. Amen. This beloved sister, I barely knew she was 50. She's on the battlefield for the Lord this morning. She's in Connecticut with our young people at the YPD conference. Sister Sandra Dow. And we'll give this to her next week. Sister Beatrice Sanders. Connected to this church, loves this church, receiving God's healing touch over in y'all know where I'm trying to say. I can't think of the name of the place, but with Manna by the Sea. She's at Manna by the Sea, and we'll take this to her today. This is her nephew, Xavier, showing up prayer warrior. Sister Marion Sanders. To God be the glory, come and receive your reward for 50 plus years of faithful service. She's coming. To God be the glory for this beloved sister who helped so many through the church school in VBS and so many other ways. She knows my heart if I mispronounce her name. We've spoken. Sister Genevieve Johnson. 50 plus years of faithful service. Now, I believe this sister has been here the longest, but we'll clarify that. 74 years. She's touched every young person inside and outside of this church. Sister Harriet Womack. Truly, we thank God for this beloved sister who stayed on the battlefield and helped us have a blessed anniversary. Sister Lillian Williams. believe this beloved sister is here with us today. She has moved away from Asbury Park, but she's still part of this fellowship and still comes, and she's still supportive. Sister Bernice Powell. God be the glory for her. Now I'm going to ask that all of the recipients that are we have any more? Okay, please make sure the people who have awards get their box. Those who received their awards, please come forward. Sister Dow, we'll give Sister Dow hers next week. Okay. Okay, all right. Please come forward so we can get a picture with you. Bring your award with you outside of the box. We have a photographer here extraordinaire, at least 2, 3, 4 of them. Come on, let's get a picture. Let's give God some praise. Stand to your feet. Allen Chapel, African Methodist Episcopal Church. We have several people there who have been here 25+ years, and I will announce them a little later in the service, but truly we thank God for these individuals. To me later. God bless you. God bless you. Thank God for you. Thank God for you. You may return to your seat. Now, my brothers and my sisters, truly we are blessed here for our faithful Congressman, Congressman Frank Pallone. Now, we know in the midst of a shutdown, he could be a lot of other places. But this man is a man of his word, and he said he will be here today to acknowledge 80 years of faithful service that came out of this church and is still coming out of this church. We call on Congressman Pallone to come at this time, and he may speak with us.
Thank you so much. I wanted to be here today, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to because of the shutdown, and I'm not going to talk about that. Other than to say 2 things. One is that we can still do congressional records, so fortunately we can still print this even with the shutdown. But I just wanted to say, Allen Chapel is such a wonderful place. I mean, I know all the things that you do for the community, particularly with regard to the homeless prevention over the years, which is still so important. I know there are a lot of people think that the economy's improved a lot and things are getting great, and I'm not saying they're not better than they were a few years ago, but we still have a lot of people that have a hard time not being able to find housing, food, whatever, the list goes on. And so I know you do a lot, not only with that, but on so many other things to help people who are in need. And I also was very impressed there because, of course, when you have 80 years, you always say to yourself, well, will it be another 80 years? But when I saw these young people here,
amen.
The service, I know that definitely be the case. So I'm just going to read, I'm not going to read the whole thing, Pastor, but let me just read a little bit of it if I could. It says, and this is in the congressional record, it says, Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the 80th anniversary of Allen Chapel, African Methodist Episcopal AME Church of Asbury Park, New Jersey. Since its founding, Allen Chapel AME Church has provided outstanding spiritual guidance and outreach to the community. And it goes into the whole history of the church. I was very impressed when it said that less than 10 years after this building was completed, the mortgage burning was celebrated. That's pretty good after 10 years. And then it says, Allen Chapel AME Church is dedicated to expanding its ministry, social action, and community outreach. In 2012, it began a prayer line during the Lenten season that was eventually extended to a weekly occurrence. Allen Chapel also facilitated bringing Covenant House to Asbury Park and provides a haven to the homeless throughout the community. So, Mr. Speaker, once again, please join me in congratulating Allen Chapel AME Church on its 80th anniversary. Its dedicated service to its congregants and the greater Asbury Park community is truly deserving of this body's recognition. So I want to congratulate you. I'll hand this to the pastor. But I will say one thing that does relate to the shutdown. As you know, the shutdown began, I don't know if it still is, but it began because of opposition to the health care reform, some call it Obamacare. And to me, I was the author, one of the authors of Obamacare, and I'm very proud of it. And as you know, the shutdown began the very first day that people could sign up for health care, for health insurance. So I always say the best way to send a message about why we don't like a shutdown is to make sure people sign up for health care reform and look on the internet, or if you want to call my office in Long Branch and make sure that you see what advantages there are that you can take, whatever you can take advantage of. And there's a lot there that makes health insurance affordable for people that don't have it now or don't have a good policy and would like a better policy. So please do that. That probably sends the strongest message about why this shutdown makes no sense. So thank you again. Congratulations.
Let us stand and give God some glory for 80 years. And we know that this church is a blessing. Not only does God know about it, but the government knows about it. And you're in the congressional record. To God be the glory. At this time, we're going to ask all of our beloved friends and family who are visiting with us to stand so we can just recognize your presence here with us today.